Brews and Views, a podcast where we review movies, give our opinion on what's going on in the world, all while drinking good beer. Crack open a good brew and open your minds for Brews and Views.
Say hey everybody out there in the internet land. This is Juan Cordero, the one and only, coming at you with another podcast for January 14th, 2020. How is everybody doing out there in the internet land? I hope everyone is having a great work week so far and didn't have to yell at somebody or like gut throat them right in the fucking Adam's apple. Because, you know, there'll be some times where, you know, you're at work and you're just like, I really wish I can just hit this dude in the fucking Adam's apple or in the balls. Man, I swear sometimes that person might be me. Anyway, but nonetheless, I hope everyone's having a great time at work, getting back to the work week of working 5 days a week. Like I said last week, I had 2 weeks in a row where I was working only 4 days a week, and that really hurt the pocketbook a little bit. But nonetheless, we are working 5 days a week now, and it's not as great as everyone thinks it's going to be, because I mean, we're starting to slow down a little bit, and there's a couple days where you can elect to go home early, or you can go somewhere else and work. And one day I elected to go home early, but anyway, working 5 days in a row. Hope everyone's having a great time out there, but just breathe, because we have 2 days left. It's Thursday, y'all, and 2 days left, and we'll be looking at the weekend. I can't feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it. I don't know why that just came to my head, but anyway, let's get this podcast moving forward. We're going to start off with a beer review, and I haven't done a beer review in a minute. This is called Brews and Views, and maybe I'm just brewing up a bunch of things to talk about and not really talking about like brews and like, craft beer. And the reason why I started off this podcast was, craft beers, and I like to talk about the things that I like to talk about. But nonetheless, let's get into this beer that a buddy of mine, he gave me over the weekend. On Saturdays, I usually go over to my buddy Brian's house, and we kind of, talk a little bit, talk shop, talk work, talk, all kinds of things. Just talk life, talk Marvel, talk Star Wars. I guess we talk. Anyway, and here and there, I always take over some treats every time I go. I either take him like something beer related or alcohol related, because this dude he has a freaking liquor store in his basement right now. So I always take him something, something he can try. And his dad got him. I'm plugging Belmont Beverage here right now. Belmont Beverage does this thing where for the entire year, 12 months, on the 8th of the month, you can give them your money, $192 in a year, and you get a 6-pack of beer. It's not just any 6-pack. This ain't no Bud Light. This ain't no Miller High Life. This ain't no Coors Light. This isn't that. This is different types of craft beers from all over the country, and you get to try these different beers out, because every time I go to the liquor store, I'm always looking in the craft beer section, and I'm like, what should I get? And this just makes it that much simpler for me. I go in, grab my 6-pack of craft beer. It has not a howler. It's a bigger size, 24-ounce beer, a little bit of swag, some information on the beer and whatnot. So for all those beer enthusiasts out there that love to get into like the craft beers, check out Belmont Beverage. If you are in the Fort Wayne Summit City area, check out Belmont Beverage, and it's $192 if you want to do the entire year, but also you can do 3 months or 6 months, and it's just split it up. do the math. It's $16 a month. But anyway, we're going to be reviewing a Duclaw brewing company, which, man, I should have written this down from where Duclaw is. I'm looking on the label here, see if I can find out where this beer is from. Oh, here it is. Baltimore, Maryland. If my buddy Brandon's listening to this podcast right now, he's probably like, dude, we've talked about this multiple times, dude. But guess what? There's so much things going on in my brain that I forget little things like that. But anyway, Duclaw Beer Company. We have this sour me strawberry grape sour ale, which comes in at a 5.5 alcohol volume. And it's made with real strawberries and grapes, plus it has lactose. So it has lactose sugar. And I've talked about lactose sugar before with you guys. And if you know a little bit about lactose sugar kind of brings out the... especially like in milk stouts and stuff like that, it brings out the flavor of the milk more. So anytime I hear like a milk stout and I hear that there's lactose involved, I'm like, I'm going to love this beer. I'm pretty much going to love this beer, which I'm not a huge sour fan. Talking about the sour me. I'm not really huge into the sour beers, but I do drink them. There are some that I prefer over others. And my buddy Brandon, he doesn't like sour beers at all whatsoever. He feels like, he describes it as if you went out and had a great night, or you're sick and you threw up. You know that taste in your mouth, like after you have vomited and thrown up in your mouth before you have like taken some mouthwash or some water and like rinsed all that nasty shit out of your mouth. That taste that you get, that's the taste that he thinks that sour beers taste like. And I'm like, dude, really? And then when he explained it to me, and then I had a sour beer once with him, I'm like, dude, why'd you have to explain it like that? Because yeah, it does kind of taste like that, like after you've thrown up a little bit. But anyway, this is made with real strawberries and grapes, and plus with the lactose. I poured my beer already, and if you were listening to this podcast already, go ahead and check out the Brews and Views Facebook page, and I'm also on YouTube as well, but I don't have that much content up on the Facebook page at the moment. I started really hard during quarantine when I wasn't working, and it's just a lot to do, all by yourself if you're not, on top of it, or you have someone that's helping you out with it, with the editing and the videoing and do all that. Anyway, it's a lot to do all by yourself. I'm a one-man band here, so forgive me if I'm not giving you more than you guys should get. But a friend told me, like, say, hey, you should definitely get on YouTube, because YouTube is more of like a search engine. It isn't a social media page. So if someone searches, for your podcast or something, and you search as Brews and Views, this will come up, all your content for whatever comes up. It's a search engine with video. So I'm thinking about doing, I really don't know what to do. But anyway, we're going to get back to this this beer review. I'm looking at it, and I poured it in these glasses that I got for myself for Christmas. I got 4 juice little cups, glass cups that are Star Wars related, and this one has C-3PO and R2-D2 on it. It looks like they're on the planet Hoth, and on the back it says R2-D2, C-3PO, barreled shaped R2-D2 and computer repair droid and human shaped C-3PO, a protocol droid, work to aid the rebellion in the struggle against the Empire. They flee with the rebels from their base on the vast red planet of Yavin to the barren ice planet of Hoth. I was correct, where headquarters are temporarily maintained in one of the desolate planet's frigid ice caverns. Anyway, so as I have it in this glass here, it has a very, very like copper copper hue, copper tone to it. It had a really nice head to it when I poured it into the glass. And as I smell it, I'm going to smell it. I'm going to do it off the microphone here. So, right off the bat, I'm getting that hint of like when I smell it right off the bat. I do smell something that is very, very prominent in my childhood life, and it has to do with candy, which we're going to get to that here in a little bit. But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, it looks like a very, very good beer, and I'm just going to go ahead and I've already tasted this, but I'm going to give you guys just, what I think on the spot, because I did have a few the first time I tried this, so... And my buddy was like gassing it up a little bit. He was like, it tastes like this. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I tasted it and I'm not going to say I agreed just to agree, but I did agree. Anyway, nonetheless, we're about to take a taste of this beer. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. That is really good. Ooh, yeah. That is good. Hold on. I'm sorry. You guys are going to get like 33 seconds of me just a total of me just drinking this beer. Hold on. I gotta take another couple swigs of this beer because it's fucking good. Hold on. That doesn't hit like most sours like I was kind of complaining to you before, because it kind of does have that. And most sours that I've tasted before, and after my buddy Brandon had explained to me that it tastes like vomit, that aftertaste of vomit in your mouth, it doesn't really have that predominant taste of like vomit in your mouth. It's actually really good. And what it really, and if you look at the Facebook page, and you look at the picture I posted there, that's where I was going with all that. Anyway, if you go to the Facebook page, I do have a picture posted up of the glass and the can up on the Facebook page. It kind of has it's like cut in half down the middle. It says sour me, and then right down the middle of the sour me, you have like this grape. This purple nonsense, and then like this like reddish pinkish nonsense on the right side. And when you smell it from the first time, it's like when you smell it from the get, it really reminds me of Nerds. And if you never had Nerds as a kid, like the candies, they look like little rocks or pebbles that you find on the freaking street somewhere, and they're all purple and like red and whatever kind of colors you can get Nerds in. It kind of smells like Nerds when you open up that little, cardboard little box that they come in, and you smell them. They smell like Nerds. It smells absolutely like Nerds. Now, let's get into the taste and the texture and whatnot of this beer. And it says it's a strawberry grape, and they put strawberry first and grape last, like really small. And that's very, very accurate, because there's a huge strawberry taste, but there is not much of a grape flavor at all, but it hints more on the strawberry side. Again, the sour ales I don't really get into, but this one, I could definitely have a few of these, and hitting at 5.5 alcohol volume, you're going to be pretty good. So if you've heard any of the podcasts in the past, anything over 6% alcohol and you drink a pint of it, you will feel the effects of the alcohol much greater after finishing a pint of anything over 6% ABV, which is alcohol by volume. But this one is 5.5, which, I mean, depending on what type of drinker you are, you're definitely going to feel the effects differently. But nonetheless, you can probably get away but drinking a couple of these and still be like, okay, probably be a little bit buzzed. And if you're a quiet person, you'll probably talk a little more. But definitely, if you're out and about and you have a couple beers, I don't care what kind of fucking beer you're drinking, and if you don't feel like you can drive, don't drive. Stay at someone's place. Say, hey, I need to take your couch and not drive. I'm not condoning drinking and driving at all whatsoever. Because of this podcast, I just have to say it, and I haven't said it before, and I should have said it. But if you feel like you've had a few and you need to like chill out somewhere, chill out. I'm pretty sure your friends or your family would appreciate you staying other than driving home and attempting to navigate a 1,000-pound or plus more vehicle under the influence. But anyway, so overall, I'm gonna say that this beer is pretty tasty. From 1 to 5, I'm probably gonna give it maybe like a 3.5. I have to give it a 3.5. I'm not going to do those 3.3975. But I'm not that bougie about beer. I'm just going to give it a straight up 3.5. One, because it's not in my realm, and if you've listened to any of my other podcasts talking about beer, I'm more of a porter and stout guy, and I get into the IPAs as well. These sour beers I really don't care for, but this one really levels up there with me. So I have to bring it up a little bit more than other beers that I drink. So a 3.5 I think is the realm it should lie in. So go check out Duclaw Brewing Company Sour Me Strawberry Grape Sour Ale. It's a full pint at 5.5 alcohol by volume. Now, again, if you are a beer connoisseur, check out your local Belmont beverage and go ahead and do that 3 months, 6 months, fucking whole year for $192. Tell them Juan sent you from Brews and Views. And if they a bunch of them are like, who was Juan from Brews and Views? Maybe they might give me a little kickback. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get this podcast going a little bit further here and more. And we're going to talk about a little bit of notable news that has happened, that has either happened or happening right as we speak. Aaron Rodgers will host an episode of Jeopardy. If you didn't know, the original host of Jeopardy passed away not too long ago, and Alex Trebek, may you rest in peace. You were an inspiration, and you were always on television when I was a kid. And sometimes I watched you, sometimes I didn't. But recently I started getting into watching a lot of Jeopardy, just because I guess the older you get, the more you want to think you're wiser, and the more you get those those puzzles on the screen, the more you feel like you're a little bit smarter than the other person. But nonetheless, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a guest host on one of the episodes of Jeopardy, because they're going to be doing a variety of episodes with different hosts. And not too long ago, the first episode of Jeopardy, Ken Jennings debuted as the guest host of Jeopardy and opened the show with a tribute to the late and great Alex Trebek. Jennings says, "Not many things in life are perfect, but Alex did this job pretty much perfectly for more than 36 years, and it was even better up close. We were dazzled by his intelligence, charm, and grace." Man, if you don't know who Ken Jennings is, Ken Jennings is one of the most winningest contestants to be on Jeopardy. And not too long ago, they had like the best of the best, sir, of Jeopardy on, and he won once again. I think that's false, but anyway, he's probably one of the most winningest contestants on Jeopardy, and he's even said that he got to know Alex Trebek very, very well, and just kind of like as a human being, fell in love with him. And I read the entire article, and I was very inspired after I read it. That after I die, I just want to be like a person that inspired people as well, And I know a little bit I'm an asshole, but I kind of want to inspire people a little bit, or have inspired people to do better. But anyway, that's kind of one of my goals for the year. Anyway, Deadpool 3 is coming, and it's going to be a part of the MCU. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with all that jazz, but Deadpool is going to be part of the MCU, and how they work that in with, the Avengers and all that jazz. Because Deadpool was a member of the Avengers at some point in time of his comic book career. So we'll find out what's going on here. We're gonna get into a little bit of sports here now. I saw this, and like I said last podcast, like I get into everything Chicago, so I definitely follow the Bulls. And when I was a kid, I grew up watching, Michael Jordan. He played for the Bulls, and I've always been a fan because I was a Chicago Cub fan, and with a little bit of stint of being a White Sox man, but we're not going to talk about that. So I've always kind of like kept up with basketball, especially when I was a kid. But the more I got older, the more I kind of like distance myself from basketball. But I know the players and I know the game, and I knew who has won in the past like 10 years. But nonetheless, Houston Rockets traded James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday as a part of a 4-team trade that will also send Victor Oladipo to Houston. I say, what? I didn't read the entire article because I'm waiting to talk to this guy at work about, because we talk a little bit about basketball, and we have, but not as much. But I even said, like, as soon as it came through, it's like my Apple Watch buzzed, and I was like, and Juwan was right there, and I go, Juwan. He's like, what's up? I was like, James Harden just got traded to the Nets. He was like, say what? And I was like, yeah. He goes, when? I was like, it just happened. It just came up on my phone, my watch. And he was like, man, I'm gonna have to look into that. And he starts saying some other things, and I'm like, yeah, dude, it's freaking crazy. And we didn't talk since then. So I definitely am going to talk to him about like what he thinks about this trade and whatnot. But James Harden, I thought James Harden was going to probably be with the Houston Rockets for a long time, trying to be the franchise player of the Houston Rockets. But the dude wants to win a fucking championship, and if he can go somewhere else, just like any of these players now in the NBA, they're going to go somewhere else to try to win a championship. I guess that's any player in any sport. They're trying to win a championship. That's what they do. That's what they do to play the game. It's the love of the game. And yeah, if you don't win a championship and you still put up numbers and you do well, and you're a good person and you do the good things in the sport and whatnot, it's for the love of the game. If you love baseball, basketball, football, hockey, whatever sport it may be, and you get to do that as a living, and you do well at it, and you get paid pretty well to do it, that's the trophy to me, I think. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's the icing on the cake to win a pennant or a World Series, or to win the Stanley Cup, or to win any of these things, the Lombardi Trophy, or any of these things that has to do in sports. Like, that's the icing on the cake. This is what we like play for. We play to win games. We don't play just to lose. We play, and these guys play to win fucking games. So yeah, that's fucking crazy that James Harden, because that's the only team he's ever played for, and he's going to go to the Brooklyn Nets. Also in sports, MLB 2021 fan plan no mandate for vaccines or COVID-19 tests. Is this a good idea or a bad idea? Now, can the MLB say that they can't mandate for vaccines or COVID-19 tests to have like all their fans go back to the stadiums and say they're not going to check for anything? Like if you had like a negative or a positive test, they're not going to check at all whatsoever. I mean, can they say that, or can the state regulate and mandate to say to these places that, hey, if you're going to be open to the public, these things A, B, and C need to happen? So I don't know. I think the MLB, I think they have like a plan, but I think your plan is going to be ruined by whatever state that you're in, because the states pretty much mandate what happens to businesses, and you fall. I'm not going to say you don't, but you do fall in the spectrum of being a business, and you serve food and there's people. And so if they say by the time, baseball comes back that, hey, you can't have this many people in your stadiums, then you can have, gatherings more than 250, 350, whatever the number may be, that you can't have that much of a gathering. And if that's not going to be, beneficial or, make any money, because you can only have so many certain people in your stadiums, what are you going to do again? Are we going to go to the bubble shit again, or what's going to happen? I really don't know. I was in a good position last year when the baseball season started, that I was going to go to a fucking baseball game. I was going to go to Chicago. I had a brand new vehicle, and everything was going my way. Everything was going well. And then fucking COVID happened. I really wanted to go to a fucking Cub game at home, drive up there by myself, go see three games in a row, go see a series, go get a fucking hotel and stay, and go get my scorecard and a fucking pencil and a beer and a fucking brat, and sit there and fucking watch some fucking baseball. But anyway, COVID. If you're in the Summit City, Fort Wayne area, Savor Fort Wayne began on January 13th, 2021, which was Wednesday. If you're asking, what is Savor Fort Wayne? Savor Fort Wayne is over 55 Fort Wayne restaurants that will offer 3-course menu featuring apps, salads, steaks, sandwiches, seafoods, pasta, ethnic delights, and many other food options. So make sure if you're in the Fort Wayne Summit City area, that you visit one of these 55 locations, of these locations and restaurants from January 13th to the 24th. That is January 13th, 2021 to January 24th, 2021, where they will have a special 3-course menus and deals and whatnot, featuring apps, salads, pastas, steaks, and whatnot. Here are a few of my favorite places that are listed in this 55: Baker Street, Club Soda, El Azteca, La Fagota, Mad Anthony's, Proximo, Summit City Brew Works, and Trouble. So go and check them out, because I have friends and family that are in the industry, and they have taken, because of COVID, they have taken a big blow to the gut, face, balls, wherever. They have taken a big hit. So they really need Fort Wayne support. So go out, support one of these places, support Baker Street, support Club Soda, support La Azteca, La Fogata, Mad Anthony's, Proximo, Summit City Brew Works, or Trouble. Go out have something, do, that it's local, fuck these fucking Applebee's and Fridays and fucking, chain restaurants. Go out to a local joint. And if one of these joints that I didn't even say out loud that are my favorites, and if it's your favorite and it's one of the 55, I'm pretty sure it is, and there's like 20 new restaurants that are going to be involved as well, go check them out, because you need to support local businesses around this time, because they're being hit the hardest, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic bullshit. And yes, it's bullshit, but nonetheless, like, you need to get out there and support your local people, no matter where you're from in the world. If there's a local establishment, restaurant, comic book store, or clothing store, or whatever that is local owned and grown, and the owners work the registers and make the food, or whatever it is, whatever it may be, support them, because they bust their ass to bring these great things to them. And they're not just a local store and have these brick and mortar places because they just have money. It's because whatever they do is good. So support them, or you won't see them ever again. So support your local folks, because an Applebee's and a Fridays and a Red Robin will always be around, no matter what the fuck is going on. It doesn't matter. But these cool ass spots that are local, they will never survive. They will never survive if they don't have and continue having the support of the local folks in your area, here in the Summit City area. But anyway, let's get into some things that I talk about a lot, and with the movie industry being so scarce right now, because no one's going out to the theaters because of COVID, and AMC and Regal, I think Regal fucking folded, and there is no Regal fucking cinemas anymore. AMC is holding by a fucking thread. They said they were going to go fucking bankrupt by the end of January. They're still fucking going, and they just, the movie industry is fucking failing right now. And I love movies, and I want to get back to watching 3 movies a fucking week. And I would watch like 3 movies a fucking week with AMC A-list membership, which was $20 a month, and I could watch 3 movies a week. And I pretty much, like, they were paying me to go see movies, basically, and they gave me incentives and like perks and shit, where I got like a free popcorn or a free like drink or a free like entree and whatnot, like just for going so much. I got these free things, and after a while, if you get all that free shit and you get a beer here and there, it's like, it's like free beer to me. I don't know. That's just what I think. But anyway, No Time to Die will be delayed once again for the 3rd time, moving from April 2020 to November 2020, and then moved again to April 2021, where it's currently scheduled. However, sources have said that the studio wants to give it a traditional theatrical release. I can't fucking talk. It's that I've had 3 Miller High Lifes and now I'm drinking this sour, and yeah, I'm feeling it. But anyway, so a theatrical release rather than pursuing an alternate model. They keep playing with my fucking emotions, man. Like, seriously, this Bond movie, this is the 25th Bond movie ever fucking made, and every time we get closer and closer to the release of the Bond movie, it fucking doesn't happen. And they keep playing with my emotions. But if you are a fan of Bond and know much about Bond movies always release during November. And it was going to do that initially when it first came out, and with the whole COVID situation, they decided to move it and then move it and then move it, and then now they're going to go for the fall release back in fall release for when Bond movies usually come out in November of this year. So I'm excited. I've been watching all the old Bond movies to kind of like get the feel of how these movies have progressed over the years. I mean, we're talking like 60 something. So over like 40, 50 some years, like watching these different movies progress in the different Bonds that have been, which, rest in peace to fucking Sean Connery. He's not going to be able to see the 25th anniversary of the 25th, not anniversary, but 25th year, 25th, not 20 year. Fuck, Juan, get your shit together. The 25th movie of Bond to come out because he passed away in 2020, along with a lot of people. And if you want to hear all the people that have passed away, that have influenced me, you can listen to that in the podcast, I believe 3 podcasts ago, 43. Yeah, 43, I believe. Anyway, so yeah, they keep playing with my mind. I don't know what to do with the talk of So with all the talk of this alternative model, such as going straight to streaming services, like, a lot of places were, it first started with Universal saying like, man, we got this Trolls movie we want to put out, but the fucking theaters are closed, so they just put it straight out to streaming. And AMC was like, hey motherfuckers, you have a fucking contract with us and you have to put this out. And they were like, fuck, we don't have to do anything. And yeah, I know it's a contract, but we can renegotiate this shit. But anyway, nonetheless, like, there's been a lot of ups and downs with what's going on with the movie industry and theaters in general, and like actually going to a fucking movie, because we don't know what's going on. And anyway, with the alternative models, we have HBO Max that just recently said that all of their theatrical movies that are supposed to come out in theaters are also going to simultaneously open up on HBO Max. Now that's a huge fucking play, because, and it also gives them some versatility there, because if the pandemic starts to wind down and cases of COVID start to wind down and businesses start to open up and people start to get back to normal, then they can pull all that shit from HBO Max and then just, funnel people back to the theaters. So, I mean, it's a genius idea. It's a genius fucking business idea, to do both, because, I mean, you're basically fishing with a big ass net, and they're doing their best to try to gain back how much money they put into these productions, especially for HBO Max. Which leads to Netflix saying, oh yeah, HBO Max, that's what you're going to do? Hold my fucking beer. Netflix announced on January 12th, 2021, they plan to release a new Netflix original movie every week of 2021. That's 70 new original movies this year in 2021. What? Are you fucking kidding me? 70 movies. Now, I believe it was MGM Graham, or I forget what studio it was, that put out 55 movies in 1 year. And that was back in the 50s. And they were the only studio to do that, to do 55 movies in 1 year. They pumped them out with like the big stunners in the acting world. So Man, so Netflix putting out 70 new original movies this year. That's 50 more than the next closest competitor, Disney. Now, I was talking to someone earlier about like what all these streaming services have and whatnot. He was like, man, I'm dropping Netflix. And I was like, dude, don't. And he was like, why? And I told him that Netflix is about to drop a new movie every week for the year of 2021. So I'm not sure really when this is going to take place, because they just released it this week, which is this past Tuesday, which was January 12th. So maybe next week we have a new movie, or I don't know when they're going to release this, new movie every week. Quote unquote new movie every week. When is that going to happen? But nonetheless, it's still 70 new movies, and that's still more than 54. That's more. Because if you think about it, there's 54 weeks in a year. That's triple 50. No, that's double, almost double the amount of movies. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with this, but still, that's more than 50 than the closest competitor, which is Disney. And I was saying that I was like, don't do that, because Netflix is coming out with all these new movies, and there's a movie that Netflix is having that will have where's it at? I got any of my notes here. We're gonna have The Rock. What's his name? Fucking Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds all in one movie called The Red Notice. We're also going to have heavy hitters in the acting world: Jennifer Lawrence, Leo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Ariana Grande, I believe, is making her debut into the silver screen. Into the big screen, I should say. So yeah, like it's fucking cool. There's I think I'm gonna post this on the Facebook Brews and Views page, so you can see. It's like a 2.5 minute video, a trailer of like everything that Netflix plans to release. I'm just gonna read some of these off that I remember what they are. Harder They Fall is going to have Idris Elba and Regina. I forget her last name. She was in what the fuck is that? Watchmen. Yeah, she was in Watchmen, the HBO original Watchmen series. Harder to Fall. It looks like it's a Western, and it looks fucking amazing. I only saw like a 5-second clip. Tick Tick Boom is going to be a first directing for, I forget who it was, but Brews is going to be a first direct for Halle Berry. What else? Yeah, the Kissing Booth, To All the Boys, Always and Forever, The Woman in the Window, Escape from Spiderhead, Yes Day, Sweet Girl, Army of the Dead, Outside, The Wire, O2, The Last Mercenary, Kate, Fear Street, 9th Street, Malcolm and More. What else do we have here? Monster, Moxie, The White Tiger, Double Dad, Back to the Outback, Beauty, Red Notice, and Don't Look Up, which has Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio. So man, Netflix has really said, okay, is that what you're gonna do, HBO Max? How about this? Boom, we're gonna blow it up on you, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it that much harder. So if you don't have Netflix already, you might as well go ahead and get your Netflix subscription up on queue, because there's going to be a lot of new movies coming out here very shortly, and probably a lot of these movies people are going to be talking about is going to be, I think, after the first couple movies come out that are blockbusters, that have like blockbuster actors in them that get very popular, then you're going to see like a gorge of people downloading Netflix, and getting Netflix that probably didn't get it, or probably are going to go back to Netflix because they got Disney Plus because of The Mandalorian and whatnot. They'll probably get Netflix because, I did that too. I dropped Netflix because of The Mandalorian, because I got Mandalorian and Apple TV Plus back in 2019 when it first dropped. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to do this last podcast and I really didn't do it, and I kind of wanted to. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the podcast. You're listening. Thank you so much, man. If man, gal, woman, alien, dog, fucking Grogu, whoever is listening out there, thank you so much. If you got through this part, then you're listening to me ramble at lengths about things I don't have no business talking about. But nonetheless, man, thank you for supporting and listening. Man, I reached 1,000 downloads not too long ago. Even though it took me a year to get there, I'm still going to continue moving on and going through there. So I kind of wanted to reintroduce myself to you folks out there, to kind of like what this podcast is all about. And for those listeners that are listening for the first time, this is for you guys, and it's kind of reiterating where I should be at, because sometimes I really don't get into the topics and subjects that I normally get into, because it's Brews and Views. So Brews and Views is all about craft beer and views, like, TV and movies, my views on TVs and movies, and then my views in what's going on in the world. I kind of give my perspective on things that happens in this country, in this world, and kind of give my spin on it. It may not be the most popular opinion, but it's my opinion. Like they say, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them, and they all fucking stank. So this is what podcasting is about. It's about just getting on here and fucking talking about some shit. And if I align with whatever you're talking with, or you think that what I'm spitting out to you, kind of excites you or makes you laugh or gets you through your day, then thank you, or you're welcome. Continue listening. Always support and share as much as you can if you guys want to. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm not making any money off this podcast. I kind of just do it for my own fun and whatnot. So, Brews and Views, it's all about craft beer. And I did a beer review today on the Sour Me Strawberry Grape Sour Ale. And it was pretty tasty. So it's pretty much that. If you want to know a little bit of the origins of Brews and Views used to be 4 gentlemen. It used to be myself, Brennan Smith, Marlon Riley, and Corey Nugent. We were Brews and Views. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. There were just some things that I really didn't think that were going my way, and it was heavily influenced by a person that I was dating at the time. And I just had I wasn't in a really good spot. I wasn't in a really good place in my mind at that time. And I decided that I wanted to pull away from Brews and Views, from the 3 gentlemen that are still my friends, and kind of do this on my own, and kind of take this on my own way, my own venture, and do the things that I want to do, and not have it to be, just one-sided, or, the guy's talking the most, or I feel like I'm not getting enough, mic time or whatever. But it all has to do with that, I wasn't really well versed in podcasting, and I was really leaning on a lot of Brandon, taking over the podcast, and the more and more I've done it, the more I know I can control the room, and I can take over if I want to, and interview a person, ask a person a question, and be able to come off the cuff with about just anything. So that's what Brews and Views is all about. It's about brews, and it's about my views, and it's about just being just ever so fucking just true to myself and to my audience about what the hell's going on. We're going to talk about Brews. We're going to talk about views. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about Marvel. We're going to talk about comic books. We're going to talk about all this shit. You know, I don't claim to know everything, but there is a lot of things that I do know, and there's a lot of things that I've done in my life that, you know, I kind of can relate to a lot of different things. So I just give my perspective on like what I think and how I feel. And eventually here in the future, I will review like it was a fucking movie. I will talk about the shit show that happened at Capitol Hill. I'm still waiting for things to unravel. I think that, you know, once a couple of weeks go by, I think after Joe Biden gets elected in, he gets inaugurated in and whatnot, you know, I might have a podcast on the whole shit that happened. But because everybody and their mama, if they got a fucking podcast, they're all talking about it. But you're not going to get the types of, you're not going to get the type of conversation that I'm going to have where I that I oversee everything, that I talk about everything. I go from, I'm very, very, gray, black, and not really too black and white. I'm gray. I'm going to be very gray about these situations and things that happened. And I'm going to ask these questions. I'm going to say them out loud. And sometimes I may come off that, oh, you must have been a Trump supporter. No, I'm not. It's just how I'm going to feel. But anyway, that's what Brews and Views is all about. And I got these really cool, they're called pod decks. And they're just like playing cards, and they have little sayings and shit on them. And they have like the what the heck deck. They have an interview deck. There is a would you rather deck. They have a episode deck, and they have another interview deck. So I'm going to take a couple of these cards. I'm gonna shuffle them because I've read every single one of these cards. So I'm gonna shuffle these cards, and I'm gonna pick one from what the heck, and I'm going to answer it. So here we go. Cut it one more time, and then we're gonna take the top one. What does it say? Do you have a signature move or quirk that people notice or comment on? Signature move. I mean, I think I touch my nose a lot. I don't know. I think this would be a question to ask my friends. You know, like, do I have? Like, I think this question would be cool if, like, do I have a signature move or a quirk that you notice, or like, you know, you guys comment within yourselves about the things that I do. I don't know. I mean, that's one of the pod decks, and for time constraints, we're not even going to put that back into the fucking box. We're just going to run it back off. This is the episode deck. I'm going to shuffle this real quick, and then we're going to read one of these episode decks. I don't even know why I'm doing the episode deck. Hopefully it's a good question where I can, like, answer or do whatever, you know, right off the bat. Cut this one time, type the top one. What does it say? Book review, my latest read. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I am reading 4 books right now. I'm reading American War. I'm reading, there's these 4 books that I'm reading, and I've talked about them before, but I haven't finished the entire book yet, but the one book that I'm enjoying the most is American War. It's a fucking very good book. It takes place in the future about, like, what if we went into another civil war and kind of cut off how society kind of cuts off itself, and if California is completely gone because it fell into the ocean, and Florida is completely gone because it fell into the ocean, which is actually happening. So yeah, pretty freaking interesting book. Nonetheless, like, see, like, how things would happen if we would have a civil war around these times, and it takes place, I think, around like 2077, and the North is like all, I don't know, like the new America, and like Louisiana is basically a safe haven or something like that. I don't know. It's been a while since I read it. I'm like in the 5th or 6th chapter, but let's read one of these bad boys off of the Would You Rather deck. Would you rather blow up 100 balloons or lick 500 envelopes? I know some people like licking envelopes is like it's like the most horrible thing you could ever do ever in your fucking life. But I don't know. I may be weird, and it might be like a trait that like says like, if you like licking envelopes, you must be this. But I don't know. Either of those things, I don't know. What would I rather do? You know, dude, if you have 100 balloons, you have a party. If you have 500 envelopes, you're probably paying a lot of bills, or you're probably filling some fucking like envelopes for somebody else. So I would have to say, blow up 100 balloons, because someone's having a party. We're filling up fucking 100 balloons, man. I'm going for 100 balloons. All right, next deck. Let's see. This is a interview deck, the 2nd edition, and then the black deck is the 1st edition. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do a little bit of shuffling there. I'm gonna shuffle these one more again. Oh yeah. Oh bro, I can shuffle like the best of them. I don't even need a table to lay these freaking cards down. I can just shuffle. Let's cut this one more again. Take the top card. What does it say? Would you rather go 30 days without your phone or your entire life without dessert? This is a hard one. Let's read this again. Would you rather go 30 days without your phone or your entire life without dessert? Man, I had dessert just the other day, man. I had dessert, man, for your entire life? Man, I'm going to have to say go 30 days without your phone. I think I can go 30 days without my phone. You think I could do it? I don't know. I don't know if I could go 30 days without my phone. You know, I should probably challenge myself to like 30 days without my phone. Maybe we can make that happen. I don't know. I need my phone because like I pay bills that way. I do a lot of things with my phone that needs to happen, that I use on a daily basis. This podcast, I check I don't know. Yeah, we're going to go with 30 days without the phone. A lot of you are probably like, Juan, you're fucking nuts. There's no way you'll be able to go 30 days without your fucking phone. Dessert for the rest of your life, though, bruh? Like cheesecake? I fucking love some cheesecake. I don't know if I could go without my entire life without cheesecake. 30 days and I'm back to my phone and I can get cheesecake. So after 30 days, I can be like, oh, I'm scrolling through Facebook and I'm eating some fucking cheesecake. That's what that would be like. That would be bliss. Anyway, last deck. Let's get one more shuffle in right here. Here we go. Which living person do you most admire? Which living person do I most admire? Man, I don't know, man. You know, I'm not going to say it's the generic question, a generic answer, but I admire my mom a lot. Just because she's been through a lot. You know, she was born in 1941, right at the end of World War II. Got married, moved out of Puerto Rico, moved to Manhattan, got married to her high school sweetheart. I moved to Manhattan, and then that motherfucker cheated on her, and she had a son, which is my brother Alex, and she regrouped herself and moved to Defiance, and gathered with friends and family there to like get her life back together. And I would have to say my mom. And second to that would probably have to be, and if you're listening to this, I'd probably have to say the second would probably have to say Brandon. Brandon's been there for me. He's been a rock. He's been a really good friend. We've fought, we've played, we've done everything, and the guy's nothing but an inspiration. And he's a brother. He's a friend. He's a shoulder to lean on. I would have to say second would have to be my guy, Brandon Smith, over at Three Crafty Bastards, where you can listen to Three Crafty Bastards every Thursday. You can listen to them or watch them on Facebook every Thursday, either a beer review, or you can see Brandon Smith, B. Smith, with nonetheless the only, I should say, Mr. Classic, Marlon Riley. Also, if you're listening to podcasts and want to listen to another podcast, listen to two best friends talk about some things that are going on out in the world, and, drink a little bit of drink. We got Leo Mills and Austin with the Pull Up and Pour Up podcast. Also, I do have to give a shout out to Joshua Parker, that basically puts, my podcast out there online. From Unique Beats, he puts my podcast on, and I just want to say that I appreciate you so much, Josh, for believing in me and knowing that the podcast will continue going forward. We've had conversations, multiple conversations of different things that we want to do with this podcast and in this podcast world and with music and everything. That's all. Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much for all the listeners out there. Here's to 1,000 more. You guys have a great evening. Peace. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me ramble at length about things I have no business talking about. Download Brews and Views to your favorite devices at Apple Podcast and Spotify. This is Juan Cordero, the one and only, saying cheers. Until next time.